Hi everyone, this is the first video in the series of multiple other videos which I am planning to record for the integrations. So in this video I'm going to demonstrate more about the inbound integration, how it works, the user setup and the way communication happens between two different applications. So for in this case I'm going to use this ServiceNow instance and Postman application for demonstration purpose. But in real world multiple different applications can be used for integration. It can be between two different ServiceNow instances. It can be between ServiceNow and Pega, ServiceNow and Jira. So basically, the idea of integration is that a communication happens between two different applications. If the communication is happening in only one direction, let's say Pega is sending some data to ServiceNow to create an incident, then it is termed as unidirectional integration. And if the data is being exchanged in both the directions, then it is called as bidirectional integration. For example, I create a ticket in ServiceNow instance A. The ticket also gets created in ServiceNow instance B, and when the ticket is updated on the instance B, it is also synced with instance A. So that is one such example. Now let's just hop onto the demonstration. So first of all, I'm going to create a web service. I'm going to click on new. And one more thing, whatever name I'm going to give to my web service over here will be the name of my import set table. If you're not already aware what import set table is, then the table which extends import set row table is my import set table. So since I'm going to demonstrate for incident records, let me give a similar name. If I want all the fields from the incident table in my import set table, then I can select this particular checkbox. So if I have 100 fields in my incident table, all will be copied. Similar fields will be created in my import set table as well. So based on your requirement, you can select the right criteria. If you have limited fields, I recommend you just create those fields over here. And if you want all the fields, if you're dealing with large chunk of data with all the fields, then you can select this option. Now I am going to select my table over here, and the table name is incident. Right. So let's give a short description as one of the field. Another one is description. Then configuration item. Color. Color is not that important, but I've just included it. State. Urgency. I think this should be fine for now, and I'm going to click on create. So now my input set table is created, which is going to be my source table in the transform map, and my target table is, as you already know, incident. And then I can simply click on auto map matching fields. Now let's take a look at the field maps. Okay, so all the fields in the source table are now mapped with the fields in the incident table. So this is the most important step, and it is already done now. Now I will go to the REST API Explorer, and I will be creating a sample JSON response request along with the table name, so that I can show you how I'm going to trigger that request via Postman. So I clicked on create a record post. Now I need to select the table name. The table name is this one. Okay, and I can build my request from here. Let's click on the builder, and my first field is, that's a short description. This is a demo ticket. I'm going to add another one, description. This is a demo ticket. Postman. Let's set some values for impact and urgency. Okay. So let's keep it this way for now. And this is my table API UI. So now I'm going to open the Postman tool. So here I'm going to select post because data is going from Postman to ServiceNow, which means outbound from Postman and inbound to ServiceNow. That means from this tool, that is Postman, it is going to be a post request. Now here we will mention the name of the table. And for authorization, I'm going to use basic auth. But before that, we also need a user to be created, and I will show you how to do that. In the body, I am going to select and I will copy the request which I created from here. Okay, so this is my JSON data. Now coming back to the authorization part, I need to create a user in ServiceNow. So let's do it right away. And one important point to note here is for each and every integration, I recommend that you use a separate integration user so that there are no conflicts. For example, you are running 10 different applications with the same user and there is some issue with one of the integration, or maybe one of the integration is deprecated in the near future, then somebody should not be by mistake deactivating the user, or the other instances could be to identify which ticket belongs to which particular integration. So based on caller you can identify that as well. So let's create a user. This is the name of my user. I am going to give a dummy password over here. Let's save this. Now, for now, I have not assigned any roles to this user, and let's see how it works out when I try to trigger a request from Postman. So I think we're good. Now let me click on send and see how it goes. So this user do not have proper roles to insert data. That is why I'm getting this particular exception. Let's try out a few different things to see the way it is going to work. So this is my table where I was trying to create the record. Okay, so let's navigate to my table, and I will have to check for certain issues which are blocking my user. So for now on this table, access is there via web services, but there are no access controls. So let me check this and save the record. So now I have these access controls for this particular table. If I'm going to click again, it won't work since my user don't have the proper access yet. Now I will go back to my user record which I just created, and let's give access to my user. This is not the proper way to give some kind of an access. Organizations usually follow access based on groups, but since this is just a demo, I'm just showing you how integration works. Now this time my user have the access. Okay, so let's try now. If I click on send, Again, I'm getting the same kind of an error. Let's see why. Let's look fine here. So I think it should work fine now. Maybe it takes some time so that it works fine with the right kind of an access. Let's click on it again. And it took some time now, so some news is good news. Okay, something is created now. Let's go back to my table and let me see if there are any records created. Come on. So finally it loaded, and you can see that in the list view I have, okay, I'm not using configuration item, target record, this incident is created, description, short description, let's check it out. Go upload the records. So this is my record on test INC integration table. This is what I have sent in my request, short description, impact and urgency. Let's verify it once again. Okay. Short description, impact and urgency, that's it. And if I go to the ticket which is created, this is what I was referring to differentiate between different integrations, use a unique user for each of them. So test integration is the user which I have used for this particular record creation. Impact was 2, urgency was high, let's say the priority is calculated as high, and this is my short description and description. Accordingly, multiple other fields can also be set. And earlier we used to have a role called soap role, which we also have today, but it gives a board level access. So if you want for integrations, you can also use that. But since I have used web service where it creates an import set table and that contains its own specific role, so using that ensures that the access to only a particular table is given using that web service. Depends on the kind of implementation you're planning to do in your organization, and accordingly the roles can vary. So this is pretty much it on the inbound integration side, and in the upcoming videos we'll see how we can process similar requests not only with basic auth. Basic auth is just as old as time and is no longer used since there are too many security constraints in the real world outside. Developers tend to use something based on a token based communication like OAuth, JWT. So we will be seeing in the upcoming videos how we can use those to our benefit so that we can get away with the legacy basic auth username password combination. No matter how strong password you keep, it is always vulnerable if you are not using a token based authentication, because tokens have limited time validity. And the other part which I want to mention before wrapping up is I created a web service so that this import set table is created, and you can see that this is how my data is represented. If you don't want to create a web service, you can simply go to creating a new table which extends import set table, and you can define the fields according to your wish, but then you will have to separately create table, transform map and everything. but process is more or less same here. Most of the things are done by default while creating a web service. That is, the table was created on the backend and navigated you directly to the transform map. And if you plan to do it the other way, you will have to create a standalone table, then create a standalone transform map. In the end, whatever suits best for you. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.